Hi, welcome to the Sideline Report with me, Chris Fleming, and my favorite co-host, Riley Crick. Today we're going to be talking about the MLB lockout, what's going on with Raiders head coaching, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady's end of his career, and that's pretty much it. So let's start off with the MLB lockout. Yesterday, what happened was Jeff Passan tweeted out that Major League Baseball has requested immediate assistance for a federal mediator to resolve the sports lockout. But the MLBPA rejected it. But then the MLB what they did was they had a formal response where they told the MLBPA that we need this, otherwise we're going to lose games and we're going to lose spring training. Thoughts?
The MLB is on their hands and knees at this point, essentially.
Yeah,
they're begging. They're pleading.
They're going to lose the lockout. This is pretty much them saying they're losing the lockout because MLBPA is locking it down. They're really feeling like they got this in the bag. I feel like if you're the MLBPA at this point, you're thinking, we got this because they want it to end because they're going to lose games. They're going to lose money. I mean, so are minor league players because this lockout is a lot about minor league ball players and giving them livable wages. Like earlier in the lockout, what the MLBPA wanted, but they wanted they wanted about $700,000 going to minor league baseball players, like just as a salary and including like bonuses and all that. Also, like with manipulating their time, like with Chris Bryant, they only brought him up so they could keep him for one more year without him going to free agency. So manipulating time like that, they also want that to end, which is one of the big things for this lockout.
But yeah, the Players Association has the ball in their court. They can keep this going maybe for however long it takes to get what they want.
Yeah, because the MLB feels like it's definitely losing this fight, and we're definitely losing baseball, which is not good for the sport at all because it's slowly becoming like just hardcore fans. There's not really many casual baseball fans out there like you have with the NFL and NBA. It's getting more like the NHL where most fans are like hardcore fans. They know everything there is to know about their teams and other teams and who's winning MVP, who's all these like greats. Because with this, they're like casual fans. They're gonna watch sports that are going on. Like that's because they're not going to pay attention to a sport that's not even going on and having like this dispute between owners and players.
But a lot of that has to do with the nature of the sport itself. It's not exactly your fast-paced, action-packed game or anything.
Yeah. MLB games are getting longer and longer. Like the average MLB games and 3 hours long. When back in the 40s, it was an hour and a half, which is half as long. That's like playing a doubleheader, and it takes like one game as it in the MLB currently, like the current MLB state. MLBPA is definitely winning this fight, and I think it's really great I think it's going to be good for the sport in the long run. Maybe not short term, obviously, because we probably will lose games. But other than that,
there's at this point with spring training just a couple weeks away, we're going to have a shortened season, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely it's not. Yeah, it's pretty much just going to be a shortened season, but I don't know. Like we'll probably lose a month, like a month of baseball. It's about 30 games per team, so that brings it down to about 130 some games, which it's not like 60 games like it was during COVID. That was pretty bad.
Yeah,
you have teams under 500 making the playoffs, which is like, it's crazy.
But that's the product of the lockout, or not the lockout, the COVID.
Yeah. Also, the last time this happened, like it wasn't like the last time there was a work stoppage was 1995, and that was pretty big because that year actually Ken Griffey was on pace for 62. If you want to put it in that perspective, so he could have like without steroids and used to that, he was doing really, really well.
Disclaimer: without steroids.
Possibly. I mean, you never really know, but I don't think he was on steroids. Now let's get into the NFL. Tom Brady retired. That is probably the biggest news. That could come out of the NFL like in decades. He was such obviously he's the greatest quarterback ever. Like sure there's like some people make a debate, but whatever. I mean like
yeah, the Bengals make it to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1988, and everyone's focused on Tom Brady.
Yeah. Also, Ben Roethlisberger just got overshadowed. Like Ben Roethlisberger is not getting talked about like at all now. Like everyone's like, oh my gosh, Tom Brady's gone. But here's the thing, Tom Brady. He passed for over 5,000 yards and over 40 touchdowns, I think, and might win
more than that.
Yeah, it was obvious. I think it was more than 40 touchdowns, and he might win MVP, and he's retiring. Like he's done. Like he's retiring, like at an MVP level, which is nuts. Like Ben Roethlisberger was not a good quarterback this year. He was not.
No, he's done. He's done. He was done. We know this year. He was done. He was not playing at the level he could be.
Yeah, he was absolutely the worst quarterback in his division. Was it close? You could argue that, but he was definitely the worst. I mean, Baker and Lamar were not good this year. Lamar Jackson's still a good quarterback, in my opinion. I think he still is a good quarterback, and I think Baker could still totally be, if you really want to put him up there, he could definitely be top 20 quarterback next year.
Top 20 is not really that, like...
It's not bad. It's not like
it's
great,
not bad,
but coming off the year, he was, I would, if he gets top 20, that's decent, because he was injured a lot that year. He was banged up. And he looked very bad in some games, and so did Lamar. And that's why I think Joe Burrow's like solidified himself as one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL at this point.
Obviously, they both have areas they need to improve on. Lamar Jackson has throwing issues that need to be corrected.
Yeah, and Baker. Yeah, I mean his scrambling's obviously unmatched.
But that's what he is. He's a running quarterback. He's not.
Yeah, he's a mobile. He's not going to pass for 4,000 yards. He's going to run. He's going to have total yardage that high, but he's not going to be passing for that much.
Yeah, it's going to be majority. Well, I wouldn't say majority, but a large chunk of that goes to running. If you take away the running, the passing game is just subpar.
Yeah.
And then Baker just has to improve in general, I think.
Yeah, because he obviously he's not a running quarterback like Lamar Jackson. But
obviously, he doesn't have that going for him.
Yeah, no one does really. The only person who comes close is Kyler Murray, and even he is not really at that level.
So we just for running quarterbacks.
Yeah, for like just running quarterbacks. It's just
we're ignoring Jalen Hurts.
Like the top 3 running quarterbacks would be Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts. Not in that order, but those would be the top 3.
Yeah. But Joe Burrow is the top quarterback, but it's not like he has a lot of competition.
I mean, this year it wasn't a lot of competition. Obviously, last year it was like Lamar Jackson's definitely that guy in the AFC North. Like, yeah, and I still think that he could definitely be that guy for the Ravens. He's won playoff games. I mean, I think it was only one. He's only won a playoff game, but whatever.
Still.
But that begs the question, since Joe Burrow's so good, you have the Joe Burrow-Herbert debate, which is an interesting one at this point because Joe Burrow's in the Super Bowl and Justin Herbert didn't make it to the playoffs.
Well, let's be completely fair here towards Justin Herbert. A lot of that comes down to an infamous play call, shall we say, or an infamous timeout.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do know. In the Raiders-Chargers game when they called that timeout. Well, I mean, I still think the Raiders were going for the win the whole time. I doubt that the Raiders were not gonna try to get the Chargers out of the playoffs.
But no, you hear what they said after the game, right? You heard what they said.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that because they're division rivals. They're not like, hey, they might like. Would you say that to get under someone's skin? Like, think about that. Like, would you say that to get under someone's skin? Oh yeah, we totally would have tied. You totally could have gotten the playoffs. Well, sorry, it's called timeout.
I mean, that would be a devious move.
There are worse things that they did in that game, like the going on forward on 4th down. I mean, obviously, like if you look at that during the time, you're like, I don't know if this doesn't go this way, there's gonna bite them in the back, and then they didn't get it, and you look back and you're like, damn, I wish they might not, what if they didn't, like they could have totally won that game.
But there's a lot of what if
I
they
mean,
didn't in
yeah,
that
there's
game.
there's in every game there's like what if. I
Mhm.
mean, like, yeah, like in the Bengals Raiders game, if to be completely unbiased, there's like, yeah, that time, yeah, the whistle,
That would
like that whistle was totally before TB caught the touchdown. I personally
yes.
think it would have been a touchdown anyway, and obviously the whistle shouldn't have been blown because he
Mhm.
wasn't out of bounds.
Yes.
But
Well,
you do kind of see the DB kind of stop, but I think TB
Mhm.
would have still caught that because he is a very good receiver.
he would have caught.
He's not on
He
the
would have.
level that T. Higgins or Jamar Chase is on, but he's very good.
Well, he would have caught it. The ball was almost in his hands by the time the whistle was blown.
Yeah, I
But
definitely think it would have been a touchdown, but if it wasn't, that it would have taken away the controversy.
mhm. The problem with that is that they didn't follow the proper procedure.
Yeah, that's the issue with that. Yeah,
That's the issue. Is it shouldn't have been a touchdown. They should have just replayed the down, and they didn't. So
yeah.
that's where the problem comes from. If they had been able to follow procedure, we wouldn't be talking about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
But
then after the Bills Chiefs game, you're talking about the coin flip. Like it was a lot of people like, dude, whoever won that coin flip was going to win the game. And then people who support what the overtime rules are now, which I don't know how many of them are. I don't know what the percentage is, but I assume that they're in the minority. Not as much now though, because the Bengals did win in the AFC Championship game. Because all you have to do, all you have to do is get a stop. Like you have to stop them on fourth down, and if they don't go for it, then they kick a field goal or they punt the ball, or you have Jesse Bates tip interception to Bell, and you get interception.
Well, of course, the case can be made that even though the Chiefs won the coin toss in the championship game, they still lost because of the interception.
Mm-hmm.
That could have happened in the Bills Chiefs game.
Yeah, totally. And also, you have 13 seconds too. Like if you were playing protection defense against when Patrick Mahomes, all Patrick Mahomes needs is a field goal. He is going to get those yardage. He's going to get that because he's really freaking good. You know how early in the season everyone's like, I don't know about Patrick Mahomes. He's kind of struggling a little bit. He got right back off. They started 3-4. He got right back on the horse, and he was going. He went off in the second half after that Washington game.
Mm-hmm. But he just plays quick, and that's what they did in the Bills Chiefs game.
He's shifty. He is shifty.
Yeah.
He too. Because did you see that play? I think it was the first quarter of the Bengals Chiefs game. That touchdown at Travis Kelce. It might have been the early second quarter. He was like scrambling around the pocket. He was like, it was like 10 seconds. It was like almost sacked like twice. And then he gets out. There's a touchdown to Travis Kelce. Like that's the kind of player Patrick Mahomes is. And then Joe Burrow's doing the same thing. Chandler Jones almost sacked him twice on the same play. He runs for the first down, keeps the drive alive. They're both phenomenal players.
Both, if that's a quarterback or a problem with it, does both.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you not sack him? He's right there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So these quarterbacks are getting more and more mobile each year. Kenny Pickett, he's coming out of Pitt this year. He's gonna be a first rounder. No one really knows where he's going. He might go to Denver. He might go to wherever. He's pretty shifty. But speaking of Denver.
Yeah, speaking of Denver, we both had the same idea with that one.
Yeah, both had the same segue. Aaron Rodgers. There is no way he stays in Green Bay, in my eyes. There's no way. He has got to be fed up. He's got to be fed up with that organization at this point.
I think I would say Green Bay wants him to stay with the Packers. But of course they're going to want that He's a great quarterback.
Yeah, he's in my opinion the MVP. Like in my opinion, he
One.
is the MVP this year.
One could argue he was the best quarterback this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
One could argue that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It also makes sense that the Broncos, they need a new quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is not the answer.
Tampa also needs a quarterback. Just putting it out there. Tampa needs a quarterback.
Okay, let's be honest. There's a lot of teams.
Yeah. But if they just say, okay, let's go all in one more year. Let's go all in one more year, and we'll roll with Aaron Rodgers for like 2-3 more years, 2-3-4 more years. I feel like they have to win a Super Bowl. They have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin's might leave. Antonio, actually no, I don't know if actually now that I'm going through it with all the guys leaving on the offensive side of the ball, he might not want to go there. He might. Oh, actually, did you see that he bought a plot of land in Nashville, Tennessee to build a house on?
I did not see that, but that's interesting.
It is, yeah, because Tennessee needs a quarterback, but Tannehill has a lot of dead cap. Tannehill has Tannehill has a bunch of dead cap.
You already said it. We can't take that out, Chris.
Yeah, I didn't say the whole word though.
Yeah, you did. Anyway, yeah. The question is though, do you go for a new quarterback fresh out of college, or do you go for one that's already in the league? Do you go for an aging quarterback who might not stay at the same team?
Here's the thing.
There's possibility.
Here's the thing with the young quarterbacks coming out of the draft. They are not. It's the draft class for quarterbacks this year is not as good as it was last year, and even the year before that with Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Tua Tagovailoa. That draft, like those two draft classes of quarterbacks were great. Those two, especially with Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, they are both top 5 quarterbacks in the AFC.
Yes.
And then you look at Tua is not as good, but he's not all that bad. Like he's not turning the ball over. He didn't turn the ball over as much as Trevor Lawrence did in his rookie season or the second season. Yeah.
The draft class is just, I'm not impressed by it. I'm going to be completely honest.
Oh yeah.
There's talent, of course there is. There's always going to be talent.
It's a good draft class, but not for quarterbacks.
Not for quarterbacks.
It's a really good draft class, just not for QBs. It's a good defensive draft too.
Absolutely.
You have Aiden Hutchinson. I can't really pronounce the guy's name who comes out of Oregon. He's another edge rusher.
Thibodeau? I don't know. I'm not a college football fan. I'm going to be completely honest, but I think it's Thibodeau.
You have corners like Gardner. You have linebacker. And then you have like the 2 or 3 quarterbacks that might go first round. Whatever.
But if I was a team that needed, if I was managing a team that needed a quarterback, I might be interested in taking a look at quarterbacks that are already in the league.
Yeah, proven quarterbacks, proven talent, like Aaron Rodgers, and actually I don't really know if anyone else is coming out in the free agent market for Watson, Deshaun Watson. That's a big boy. That's a big name.
That is a big name, but there's a little something that comes with that.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that might be a little hesitancy.
Yeah, just keep him away from massage parlors, and you'll be okay.
The reputation,
though. He is really good. Deshaun Watson is very, very good.
He's good, but will the NFL make an example out of him?
No. I think the NFL is going to leave it up to the actual government to like the law is what I should say, to like decide is he guilty, is he innocent. Obviously, you have innocent before proven guilt. Innocent until proven guilty. You
were saying it correctly enough. But...
Yeah. Yeah, so I think the NFL is going to let the United States government handle that, or what? Texas government handle that.
But we've already seen, of course, he didn't play this year for the Texans.
Yeah, and there was a lot of allegations. Those are a lot of allegations, and I really followed up on that. I haven't really looked into it, but there was, from my knowledge, there was 22 allegations against him for sexual assault. Which is pretty serious.
Yeah.
That's a whole football team. Not a whole football team. That's a whole starting football team.
If you don't include the kicker.
Yeah, kicker. That's a whole defense and offense.
Yes, fair enough. But I guess you could take a look at Antonio Brown and see what happened with him.
I mean, he's not going to play. He's not going to play it down in the NFL ever again.
He's never going to. But the Buccaneers gave him that chance.
They did.
He had all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, mainly Tom Brady too. Tom Brady gave him that chance. Absolutely.
Tom Brady. He made a case for him. Bruce Arians trusted Brady, of course. Why wouldn't you? And he was great. It's just, Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, getting hit that hard over and over again for the years. Personally, I think that's what it is. I think he's just been affected too much. And I mean, he abandoned the Patriots, the Steelers. He abandoned the Raiders. He abandoned the Patriots, and he abandoned the Bucks after Tom Brady let him sleep in his house and kind of coached him up to be suitable for the NFL again.
You got it. When you quit,
there is a point where you give up on a player mentally,
and when that player quits in the middle of a game,
that's more than enough.
You don't need any other reason to get rid of that player. When you do that, you're not setting anything good for yourself.
Yeah. And another thing with Aaron Rodgers, if he goes to the Broncos or the Colts. What are the top 3 NFC quarterbacks?
Top 3 NFC quarterbacks.
If Rodgers goes to the Colts, Broncos, or the Titans, even, or actually any AFC team.
All right.
You have Stafford, and
Stafford is good.
Yeah, you have Stafford and Kyler. You and Russell Wilson, but he might not be in NFC either. He might go to the AFC. Who knows?
Wilson was playing well until the injury, and then we saw he never really climbed back up.
Yeah, obviously after he looks really good. He looked pretty good at the end of the season. His trade value is obviously very high.
If he's healthy, he'll do pretty well.
If he's healthy, he's top 10 in the league, quarterback wise. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, so it's Wilson, Stafford. And those are the top 2 in my eyes for the NFC quarterbacks if Aaron Rodgers isn't there.
What about Prescott? Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. He's interesting.
He's a little bit of a mixed bag, shall we say?
Because he's good, but is he good enough to win a Super Bowl?
No. I'm just gonna say it right now. No, not gonna happen.
Yeah. Because I feel like Joe Burrow's proven that he's good enough to win a Super Bowl. Josh Allen's proven that he's good enough to win a Super Bowl. I think that Russell Wilson has won a Super Bowl. Stafford's also proven that he's good enough to win a Super Bowl if he has those pieces around him. And I think if Russell Wilson's on the right team, he will climb back up to that spot. He can. I don't think he is going to win another Super Bowl for the rest of his career, but he might.
The Legion of Boom was definitely that definitely helped him win those Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, you can't win a Super Bowl
without a good defense
or offensive line or a good offensive line. I mean, the Bengals, a miracle run getting up to the end of the Super Bowl. But they're somehow 9 sacks. You allowed 9 sacks in one game. That is unacceptable.
And you still throw, 348 yards?
Yeah, 348 yards.
How do you that's a testament to the quarterback, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But you look at the sack numbers and you go, how do you let that happen? Your offensive line is a bunch of twigs protecting.
Yeah, and they're playing a really good pass rush team with Aaron Donald and Von Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, D-line, the front 7 for the Rams, probably looking at this offensive line, they're oh my God, we're gonna have a field day.
But the Bengals.
But if the Bengals O-line holds up, they could totally win. It is if it's gonna be one in the trenches for the Bengals.
The problem lies with how likely that happens.
Yeah, because they did well against the Chiefs. They only allowed 1 sack.
which is
But
testament to
also,
them.
but you also have Joe Burrow avoiding a bunch. So you have that too. But same thing will happen with but same thing happened with Patrick Mahomes. But he got sacked. I think he got sacked 3 times in that game, which is a pretty decent amount.
But a lot of that was avoiding much of the attempts.
And I think the closest to the Rams pass rush that we got was probably the 49ers. And we allowed 5 sacks in that game. So I could definitely see 5 sacks in the Super Bowl. We lost that game against the 49ers, and obviously the Rams are a much better team. But I think they are a better team.
And yet you allowed 9 sacks and you won that game. So there's something happening.
And
it's not just the sacks.
And I think T. Higgins is going to have a very good game because obviously you have Jamar Chase against Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey is definitely I would see him as a top 3 corner in the NFL.
See, that's where my line of thinking goes. The Bengals each saw how they were playing, of course.
They are. I mean, they're gonna throw to Chase, but it's not gonna be off. It's gonna be few and far between.
Chase was covered a lot of that game, and what did they do? They threw the other people.
Yeah, they threw the other people because you can't guard all of them.
Yeah, Jamar Chase
is all
big
pro.
Name.
I think he's an all pro.
I think so. He's
young. T. Higgins is another 1,000-yard receiver who's very. I think he's a very good. He's a very physical wide receiver, in my opinion. He's very physical. He can go up and get the ball when you need him to. And then Tyler Boyd's your third down guy, and he's like shifty, if you want to say. He's a very good route runner. I mean, so was Chase and T. Higgins, but Tyler Boyd really knows how to get in those intermediate routes.
But you watched the Rams 49ers game, correct?
Yeah.
You watched that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know this is correct in any sense whatsoever, but did you get the feeling that it was sort of just Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp on offense?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but
it sort of feel like that to you?
Yeah, but Cooper Kupp this year was the best wide receiver in the NFL this year.
Of course, yes, he was. But there wasn't really a whole lot going on from anyone else. Like he got both of the touchdowns and the majority of the yards. Everyone else, like the other wide receivers, they got yards.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple big plays here and there, but a lot of that action was either running or Cooper Kupp.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to. I mean, but the Bengals have a top 5 rush defense in the NFL, so you are gonna have to rely on that Matt Stafford Cooper Kupp connection. They're probably gonna put Chidobe Awuzie on Cooper Kupp, and then Eli Apple's probably not gonna be on. Probably gonna be on their either second best or third best wide receiver, and they're gonna put Mike Hill and might run like 1 or 2 cornerback blitzes, but other than that, he's gonna be in coverage as well. Because they're going to want to stop that connection.
Yeah. That's a priority connection, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to make sure that receiver of the year, possibly.
Yeah.
That means if he's covered, they have to rely on OBJ and Van Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean, those are not bad wide receivers to have in your team.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. They're not bad wide receivers. They're just not But I think the Bengals, since they were able to reliably pass and gain yards and touchdowns with other wide receivers than Jamar Chase, maybe that's an advantage to them.
Yeah. Because during the regular season, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase each had leading the team in receiving yards for multiple games. They all had multiple games, but they led the team in receiving yards. And Joe Burrows is the best quarterback in the NFL against the blitz, statistically at least. I mean, you can look at tape and see if someone else is better, just objectively, if you want to look at it like just from that basis. But statistically, Joe Burrow is the best quarterback against a blitz in the NFL.
Yes.
And also, teams that made the playoffs, like the Raiders, that's something pretty impressive too, because obviously John Gruden was obviously had that email scandal, and he resigned.
Then you create an interim coach.
Yeah, intern coach, and then you also have Henry Ruggs getting arrested for a very serious crime. Then you have your one of your stars on defense, your safety, getting arrested for what was it? I think it was like assault or like threatened assault or something like that. Where you like threaten you threaten to kill someone on live on Instagram.
I don't quite remember, I'm afraid. But...
Yeah, I don't know what the exact charges were, but that's what he did. And then they fired their intern coach. They fired Rich Bisaccia.
And you still, have Rich Bisaccia. All right. Well, they didn't fire him; they demoted him. I thought.
Oh, I'll have to check that actually.
I might be incorrect. I don't know. I'm gonna be clear.
I know. All I know is they're getting a new coach.
Yes, I don't exactly remember.
If they demoted him, that's not as bad as firing, because he, it shows like obviously Derek Carr and I forget who else tweeted out.
They stuck up for him.
No, Derek Carr and Darren Waller, both stuck up for him in like tweets where they were like, yeah, this guy, he was this core of this locker room. He was really great.
But you look at what he did with what he was dealt. Like, he was coming into the Raiders organization already amid controversy, has more controversy to deal with, and you still make the playoffs.
Yeah. Obviously you're very, very close to not making the playoffs, but he still did, which is very impressive.
Yeah. They were as close to making the playoffs as
well, okay, and with this Raiders head coaching situation, obviously they brought in I think it was a Patriots head coach. He was a guy who was on the Patriots. He was a defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to check that out, but I believe that who they brought in. And
it's a new guy.
I also think that this will get Rich Bisaccia a coaching job in the future somewhere.
Yes,
this is probably the biggest thing he's put on his resume for a head coaching job is I went into this really bad situation and I took him to the playoffs. Came out with a playoff team. We almost moved on, but we didn't. But I still came into a horrible situation and I succeeded. And that proves that he is a successful head coach.
And you got the team singing praises of
him. Yeah. You have the team obviously saying that you're this great head coach and that you're this really good locker room guy who can rally your team together and you can go out and you can just win when you need to. But another coach that isn't getting so much locker room praise is Brian Flores.
Well, he's not really getting praise from so much the NFL as he is.
Do you think he's getting another head coaching job? Like, after all this is going on?
I don't think he'll coach a day again.
He might, dude. Some teams are
depending on how the lawsuit plays out.
Some teams are desperate for coaches.
Now,
like the Texans. Personally, I think they should have kept their coach for another year.
I'm not convinced about that. I thought they should have fired him.
I mean, like he came into a pretty bad situation too. He had a rookie quarterback they drafted in the 3rd round, and he wins 4 games. I mean, sure, that's not a lot of games, like at all. Like, that's really bad.
That's only a half game more than the Lions.
But Zach Taylor won 2 games his first year, and he's in the Super Bowl right now.
But I wasn't convinced about David Culley. I really was not.
Yeah. And he's still. I think actually Brian Flores is actually interviewing for that Houston Texans job. He is one of the finalists for that job. I don't know if he'll get it. This lawsuit definitely really, really hurts his stock.
It does, but he might be making the right decision here, sacrificing his career for this. Because you've seen the allegations. These are pretty serious. This is pretty serious stuff.
Yeah. And obviously you have Bill Belichick texting the wrong Brian.
Maybe
Congratulations on the job.
accidentally, maybe on purpose. We don't know.
Yeah, no one really knows.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the text, because have you read the text?
I have read the text. Yes, I have.
He's pretty much congratulations on this Giants job, and this is before he interviewed. Like this is before Brian Flores went to go interview.
This is 3 days before.
I don't know if it was on accident.
That's what
I think it said it was on accident. He was like, "Oh, sorry, I meant Brian Dable."
Yeah, he did, but was that?
That's pretty incriminating. Like that's kind of incriminating.
It's kind of incriminating, but is he a mastermind behind all of this? I've seen the theory.
Dude. I mean, Bill Belichick is probably one of the smartest people in the NFL.
He's a very smart guy. I've seen a theory. He obviously knew about the job thing. Obviously.
Oh yeah.
So he finds out.
There's probably eyes and ears everywhere.
Flores played with the Patriots, or not played with the Patriots. He was a coordinator, wasn't he, with the Patriots at one point?
I don't know what he was, but he probably was.
He was related to the Patriots organization. So Belichick, obviously, he knows him, and he finds out about this, and maybe he's like, he hasn't interviewed yet. So he accidentally sent a text to Brian Flores instead of Brian Dable, and tips him off. All the while looking like he's a technologically illiterate man, and nobody's the wiser.
Yeah.
Is that the truth? No idea.
Yeah,
it could have been genuine accident. Depends on a lot of things.
This is something that we'll probably never know. Like this is definitely something, unless this goes to court and Bill Belichick testifies, we'll never really know if this was an accident or not. I think it was, just because I don't know if Bill Belichick really cares about what the Giants do.
Fair enough.
But if there was I don't think Bill Belichick would settle beef by being like, this guy is like, hey, we decided on this guy, and you're not even going to be considered when you go for this interview.
Mm-hmm. But is that are they? I don't know about off the field relationships between a head coach and someone that previously worked with the organization. I don't know if they're chums. Yeah. I don't know if that's another. I don't believe in this one. I'm gonna be completely honest. Yeah. But I've seen a theory that it was to get back at the Giants for the almost perfect season.
Oh yeah.
It's not. I don't think so.
I don't think so. But that if it was gonna be anything, it definitely would be that.
It's something funny to think about, honestly. That's just all I see it as. Is maybe.
Yeah, who knows? It could possibly it could possibly be because of that.
Mm-hmm. I think the other really big allegation here, 2019, $100,000.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, that would put the Miami Dolphins owner in really hot water.
That doesn't put the owner in hot water. That puts that entire organization in hot water.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it was obvious they were tanking. It wasn't even it was blatantly obvious. But this is legitimately paying someone to lose. This is fixing games, which is I don't know if it's illegal, but you definitely could. The owner would take major fines probably if this turns out to be true. And
so yeah, one, you have to look at the scale of it. $100,000 in a 16-game season.
Yeah, they were possibly playing $1.6 million, but
I checked. It was 5-11. So if they went along with it, if Flores went along with it, that's
1.1
over $1 million.
Actually, he said he didn't go along with it. I believe I kind of believe him, because
kind of
why it's not like the Adam Gase situation where they bring this guy in to lose on purpose. This is they brought this head coach in to lose. They were paying. I think Brian Flores he likes being a head coach. I think
obviously
he likes being a head coach. I think he wants to win, because who doesn't want? Head coaches want to win their games.
You want to get up to that. You want to get up to that Bill Belichick.
You want to win the Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
That's obvious, of course. But that's a whole lot of money. And then also, I'm not sure if fixing games is illegal, but this has, if I'm not mistaken, gambling problems as well, like gambling consequences.
Pete Rose.
I'm pretty sure that's
this
illegal.
is actually this is pretty
This is
pretty
deep.
reminiscent of Pete Rose, right? Because
Yeah.
he bet, but here's the thing: he didn't bet
But
to lose. He bet that his
Pete
team
Rose
would
bet
win.
to
Yeah, he
win.
bet that
I
his team
think
would win.
this is infinitely worse than the Pete Rose.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think personally,
Yeah.
I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame because especially he did it as a manager. He didn't do it as a player, and he's the leader in hits all time. He's not the single season hit record, but I assume he's up there.
But you've seen what Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame. They refuse to put him in the Hall of Fame.
They banned him for life. Yeah.
Yeah. If this comes out to be true, what are they going to do with Stephen Ross?
It's really hard. You can't ban an owner. Like that's impossible.
You can't. But you can. Can you force them to sell a team?
I don't know. And if you can, would they? Because
I don't
actually,
know.
if they put them up for ownership, there would be a lot of people wanting to buy that team. There would be because it's an NFL team. Who doesn't want an NFL team? It's a moneymaker. It really is. Even when baseball, when the Mets went up for sale, there was a bunch of buyers for that, and obviously, I don't know. I don't forget his name. Who owns the Mets now? But he won. Some rich billionaire hedge fund.
As
guy.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, like no one else can afford.
Yeah. The common man can't buy an NFL team.
I mean, the Packers, you can buy a share.
Yeah,
like, that's as close as you're gonna get.
But I mean, obviously, there's a lot of consequences that will come out of this, whether it's on the part of Flores or whether it's on the part of the Dolphins and the Giants and the Broncos. Let's not forget about the Broncos.
Yeah,
coming up a lot in conversation today with John Elway and the other guy.
Peyton Manning.
I should remember.
Wasn't it John Elway and Peyton Manning in dispute for the ownership? No,
I'm talking about when Flores came in to get the interview and they showed up drunk.
Oh yeah, Elway came in hungover. Yeah.
Yeah, Elway and there was another guy. I should remember his name. It wasn't Peyton Manning, I don't think.
Well, yeah, I was talking about John Elway and Peyton Manning disputing over who should own the Broncos. Also, what about the Minnesota Vikings head coaching job? Because they interviewed Jim Harbaugh for hours. They interviewed him for hours, and then there was like, okay, I don't really think you want. We're not going to take you in for this job.
I think didn't he get the job though?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. He went back to Michigan. He went back to Michigan.
I don't. Just gonna check this.
I can see you looking it up in your glasses.
Yes, I know. I'm. Okay. Yes. Okay. He did. All right. Never mind.
Yeah, because I think what happened was he came to the interview and he came in like he had the job already. He came in like he had a job already, which I assume really turned the Vikings front office off. They were like, "Yeah, this guy, no.
Pompous.
You're coming in like that? Absolutely not. We don't want you in this franchise. See you later. Goodbye." And so obviously, since he came in like that, he wants to coach the NFL. He wants out of Michigan.
Because I mean, that's the NFL. He's obviously proven himself to be a good head coach.
Yeah, but last time he coached in the NFL, Michigan. But last time he coached in the NFL was 6 years ago.
If my memory serves me correct, I don't quite remember. Somewhere around that duration, I think.
Yeah.
But he obviously wants back in.
Oh,
because otherwise he wouldn't be interviewing for him.
Yeah.
But first impressions.
I think this is a win for Michigan too, but temporarily.
Yeah, you don't know when he's going to go back.
Because he will eventually go back to the NFL. He's going to learn his lesson and not come to the interview probably all smug and be like, "Oh yeah, I totally got this. I got this on lockdown," just because his last name is Harbaugh.
Big leagues. Yeah, but that's the big leagues, you know.
Yeah, they're not going to tolerate your BS.
Because he's going to try to go back in eventually. When that is, no idea.
Speaking of college football, did you hear about remember when the Oklahoma coach left for the USC, I think it was? University of South Carolina?
Yes, I know what USC is.
That was crazy. Yeah, so
I'm not. I don't.
he pretty much like got up and left, and they gave
Yeah.
him a bunch. They gave him like a bunch of like everything, and
Mhm.
then a bunch of people decommitted from Oklahoma, and like
Mhm.
that really messed up Oklahoma. They're not going to be very good for the next years to come.
But yeah, I'm afraid I don't really follow college football.
Yeah, me neither.
That's not really my
Not that
thing
much, but
anymore.
when something big happens like that, I kind of I see what's up.
Yeah, I watch it when it's on and stuff, but I'm not like invested into it. Like I'll watch the Ohio State game. I'll watch the Penn State game. I'll watch
Yeah,
those other big games that come on.
yeah,
Block.
like the game, Michigan, Ohio State,
Yes, that one. Of course, I watch.
the national championship,
You got to watch like
the
the national championship. Yes, of course. Is it going to be Alabama and Georgia next year? Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's very predictable, but you know.
Yeah, just I don't.
Yeah.
I don't follow the day to days, of course.
No, yeah.
Mhm.
MLB The Show released their cover athlete, and it was Shohei Ohtani. I mean, they didn't really have another choice. It was like Shohei Ohtani or no one else. It was like Shohei Ohtani or some living legend. It was some legend. Because he had the
Shohei
season he
Ohtani,
had,
or who else plays in the MLB?
like
He's a very versatile player.
He is the most. He's
he
the
had
most.
a great season
He's
on
the most.
both fronts.
Yeah. He pitches and he hits. You could argue he's the most popular player because of what he did.
Wouldn't argue that, but go ahead.
I mean, I said you could. I'm not saying he is the most popular player, but you could definitely argue that point.
One could argue anything about that kind of thing, but I would argue no. But I mean, I can definitely agree with them making him a cover athlete. Definitely gonna agree with that because he had a great season. Who would have been the other contenders though? Is the question.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You have that's it. That's it because no one's at that level besides Vladdy.
Of course. And
he
even won MVP. Ohtani.
Yeah,
and he made
unanimously. Actually.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't he make first team All-Star and second team All-Star?
Yeah.
With the different positions. That's impressive.
Yeah, very much so. Also, Herbert versus Burrow. Let's transition back to the NFL here. Herbert versus Burrow, is going to be an interesting one to talk about because they haven't met in the postseason yet. They met twice in the regular season. Herbert's won both times. But it's not.
Upcoming.
Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen's becoming a very real rivalry.
That's the big rivalry. Right?
That's becoming a real rivalry, but it could transition because right now the top three quarterbacks, in my opinion, in the AFC is Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. And they're all under 26 years old. I think. I don't know how old Patrick Mahomes is. I think he's under 20. I think he's 26 or under.
I thought he was 25. I might be wrong on that.
I think that's what he is. And obviously Josh Allen's around that age too. They're gonna like trade. Those
two definitely have a big rivalry. So far, the Chiefs are winning, but they have the Bills could definitely just trade blows back and forth with the Chiefs.
Yeah,
it's a rivalry. Definitely.
Yeah, for the next few years to come, it's gonna be the Bengals, Chiefs, Bills. The Bengals, Chiefs, and Bills are just gonna trade Super Bowl appearances. Or one's gonna end up like the Patriots, it's gonna end up like Patriots Steelers. Like every so often, Steelers make it, and then they win the Super Bowl, and then the Patriots come roaring back, and then they go. And then the Broncos come in and they win like a Super Bowl, and then they're done.
And then maybe the Chargers sneak in once.
Yeah. It's like
there's budding rivalries.
And what's really crazy about that is Joe Burrow out of those three quarterbacks is the only one on the rookie deal. Is the only quarterback out of those three on this rookie deal. Patrick Mahomes, obviously, out of those three, has the biggest contract, and he's getting paid around $45 million a year. I think Josh Allen's getting
But
like
that's
30.
because
I
he's
think
the best.
Yeah, he's the best out of those three right now.
He's the best AFC quarterback.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah,
be flat out.
yeah. You could argue he's the best quarterback in the league. I mean,
Nah,
this year,
I wouldn't make that case, but
I mean, this year my quarterbacks would be Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes. Those would be my top three quarterbacks this year. But
Patrick Mahomes is
obviously
second for me, only to Rodgers,
Yeah, I obviously Tom Brady's not going to be on that list anymore because he's retiring.
List anymore? Yeah, no, he's done. Which we have already talked about, of course.
Rest in peace, Tom Brady's career.
Rest TB12, old enough to drink.
Yeah, seriously, like holy moly.
Yeah.
Did you know the last time Tom Brady wasn't an NFL player, the iPod didn't exist.
But we're going back. What was that? 2001?
2000. He was drafted in 2000, early 2000. He was drafted in early 2000. The Twin Towers were still standing. You know how it feels like
Y2K.
Yeah, Y2K like happened a couple months ago.
Yeah, no, it did not. But yeah, before he was drafted.
Before he was drafted. I'm not talking about like right now. I'm talking about before he was drafted.
Y2K 2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fruitful career if any has ever existed.
Absolutely. What else? Yeah.
So
with those, and then if Rodgers goes to the AFC, it's going to be the Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, Chargers, and Broncos. Those are 5 teams. Those are, and if you want to count the Raiders as another Super Bowl contender,
we have to see how this year plays out. We have to see what this plays.
If Aaron Rodgers goes, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Broncos, that means Derek Carr is the worst quarterback in the AFC West. My opinion, he's around top 12, around that area. Imagine you are the Raiders. You have a top 12 quarterback, a very good quarterback in Derek Carr. Yes. You are the worst quarterback in your division. There's no viable replacement for Derek Carr. Like, you can't really go out and get a better guy unless it's Deshaun Watson, but I don't think the Raiders are going to do that. And
they're not. They don't need another one of these things happening to them.
And personally, my opinion, I think that the Raiders are very much in contention for Devontae Adams. Because
depends on where.
Because Derek Carr and Devontae Adams have expressed publicly that they want to play for each other because they did play together in college. And also Derek Carr said he wants to be a Raider for life. And guess who's a free agent this year? Devontae Adams. So
that's going to be interesting.
So yeah, and if he does go to the Raiders, that is going to give the Raiders a very good number one option for Derek Carr to throw to, which I personally think right now, if that does happen, the Raiders are better than the Chargers.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see how their head coach works out, obviously, because that is a factor. It's not as big as a factor I think as some people make it out to be, but it is definitely a factor.
It's a big factor.
How good their team does. Yeah.
We don't know how they'll mesh. We talked about how Urban Meyer was.
Urban Meyer is probably the biggest bozo that to ever exist in the NFL. Like, straight up, he's a bum.
There's worse, but he's bad. There were worse, I'm sure.
Bum, dude.
But
I mean, for a head coach, like recently, you weren't even there for a season. You were gone after like week 10. Derrick Henry got injured week 8.
Wasn't it week 12? I don't remember.
It was somewhere around there. It was not long.
And he came back.
What?
He came back.
What do you mean he came back?
Derrick Henry came back.
Oh yeah, Derrick Henry came back. Yeah, he got
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry got injured. Not to not too far away from when Urban Meyer got fired.
Yeah, Urban. But let's be completely honest here. Urban Meyer had a cut. We all knew he did. Let's be honest. But that was the Jaguars were supposed to be this great team this year. They had the number one.
They weren't supposed to be this great team. They were supposed to be serviceable. Serviceable.
But you have to admit there was a lot of hype around the Jaguars.
There were. I was excited to watch the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. After week 3, no.
That did not turn out well.
Actually, after week 4, because the Bengals played them in week 4. So after that, I was like, yeah, I don't really want to watch the
Jaguars anymore.
The Jaguars play football.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is, I'm not convinced, a good quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not convinced Mac Jones is a good quarterback. I'm convinced he's going to be decent. I don't know how good he's going to be. I still think Trevor Lawrence would go number 1 overall if we had a redraft. Personally, I think that's what would happen.
Maybe. But I think
Mac Jones would go number 2 overall.
Well, let's think about the other quarterbacks that are around there. Zach Wilson. No.
Zach Wilson's coming around. Zach Wilson's coming around. If you watched him in the last couple weeks, he's coming around. Trey Lance hasn't played it down. Actually, no, he has, but it's not been like quarterback downs.
He has, but it's not impressive. Jimmy G is still in charge, to be honest. Wasn't there? Crap.
Yeah, none of the quarterbacks in their rookie year were all that great. And if Mac Jones wins Rookie of the Year, which I don't think he should win,
won't. It'll be Jamar Chase.
Yeah, if Mac Jones does end up winning Rookie of the Year, that just proves it's a quarterback award. Because
Jamar Chase had the better year.
Justin Jefferson had a great year, and Justin Jefferson and Justin Herbert both broke records last year. So giving it to the quarterback was definitely the right choice. But this year, Jamar Chase broke records, and Mac Jones had like a okay year for a quarterback.
It was. I mean, did he make it to the playoffs?
Yeah. They made it to the playoffs,
but
he wasn't.
I would still argue. Argue Chase. I mean, they got crushed. Let's be completely honest.
They got absolutely destroyed.
They weren't in the playoffs, and then they got curb stomped by the Bills. But Chase is still the better player. Chase is still the better rookie out of the two. I don't believe anyone else is even in contention.
I think Mac Jones really got helped out by his defense in the run game.
Yeah.
Because obviously you have J.C. Jackson as your cornerback, and then you had Stephon Gilmore for part of the year. I think they traded him at like week 8-ish for a 6th-round pick, which is a questionable decision, but never question Bill Belichick. He knows what he's doing. Because they probably were going to cut him, they probably were going to cut him, but then they just like talked to so then they just like said out to the league. They were like, hey, we're going to cut this guy. If you want to trade for him real quick, you can do that. And then all these GMs flushed in with like these offers for Stephon Gilmore. Yeah, and then the Panthers got him for a 6th-rounder. So they got rid of their cap situation with Stephon Gilmore, which is what they needed to do to prepare for the next like dynasty. The hope, what many NFL fans, including myself, hope is not the next dynasty. Everyone's hoping it's either like the Bengals, it's going to be the Bills, the Chiefs, possibly.
I would argue I don't really want a dynasty again.
That's a good thing.
After seeing the Patriots in God knows how many Super Bowls,
this was the first year that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, that Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers wasn't in the championship game.
2019, wasn't it?
No, Tom Brady was in the championship game.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
He got eliminated in the divisional round, didn't he?
Yeah, but then Aaron Rodgers made the championship game.
That's right. Of course he did. Because I was cheering when Tom Brady got eliminated.
I think everyone was. Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, he's gone! It's the end of the empire." And then he goes. Then he goes to Tampa Bay and wins the Super Bowl, and that's it. Boom.
I mean, I was cheering when the Dolphins beat Brady and the Patriots in whatever week that was, and they didn't get the first round bye. I was cheering.
Yeah, Miami Miracle, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I don't really want another dynasty. I don't want
That's actually because you want this year was a really fun year to watch football. Because the Jags won 3 games, but each of their games were very important wins for the playoffs.
I mean, you talk about
their first win kept the Dolphins out of the playoffs. Second win kept the Bills from having home field advantage against the Chiefs, and the third win kept the Colts out of the playoffs.
And you can't talk about the Jaguars without talking about the Lions.
Yeah, because the Lions they didn't have a good year, but they weren't as bad as even though they had less. Actually, no, they didn't have less wins. They had the same amount of wins, but they had a tie.
So technically that puts them ahead of the Jaguars.
But also
questionable decisions were made.
Justin Tucker bailed the Ravens out, and then you have they almost beat the Steelers. Yeah, they almost beat the Browns. Yeah, and they almost beat the Vikings. So those are 3 extra games that they could have won, and they would have finished
6 and
10
and no 6
12,
and 11.
No,
6 and 11 if we forget about
6 and 11, which is
Steelers.
If you look at it, that's not a very bad record.
No, it's not. That puts you
for them at least.
Yeah,
and I think I feel like it was the right choice to not fire Dan Campbell.
It was. He should not have been fired.
He was probably my favorite head coach this year.
He's not my favorite head coach, but you know what? I kind of root for him. You know, he's got cool. Terrible organization to work with.
Personally, I don't think anyone thinks that the Cowboys are America's team. I personally think that it's I think it's the Lions. Like if I really had to pin someone as America's team, because no one dislikes the Lions. Everyone likes the Lions.
You can't dislike the Lions. They suck. You can't dislike them. How can you do that? There's probably someone out there that's like
even people in the AFC North, NFC North, don't still kind of like the Lions.
Yeah, it's like
they're a cool team to root for, you know.
Yeah, maybe they'll win this week. We don't know.
Probably not.
But we know they beat the Vikings and they beat the Cardinals and some other team I forget.
The Vikings, the Cardinals,
and third team. Who was that?
I don't even know.
I don't know, but you remember the sheer celebration, and everybody was talking about when the Lions beat the Vikings. Everyone was talking about it, and everyone was happy for them. I don't know if a single person that was like, "Oh, the Lions won."
The Vikings fans.
Well, all right, you know what? Screw them. They lost to a bad team, but.
I mean, yeah, the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. They lost to the Jets. They lost to the New Jersey Jets.
We'll always call them the New Jersey Jets.
Well, yeah, they don't deserve to have New York in their name.
They don't deserve to be They don't deserve to be anywhere. They just deserve to be Jets. But I mean, I don't think. And then they come out and they wipe the floor with the Cardinals. It's like.
Talk about unexpected wins.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. We all knew that I'm not sure if everyone knew this, but I was pretty sure the Cardinals were going to fade in the second half of the regular season.
I thought they were good. But it was around Christmas time when they played the Colts, and I was like, okay, I think the Colts are going to win this one. Because at that point, it was like Jonathan Taylor MVP possible. And what?
I don't know about that anymore.
Yeah, not anymore, but at that time, it was like, yeah, he totally could win MVP if he just keeps going, if he keeps rolling. Because that was maybe 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks before that, he had his 5-touchdown game against the Bills.
Which was
at this point he was tearing it up. Carson Wentz was doing very good, and I was like, okay, the Cardinals look kind of vulnerable. I think they can get this win, and they did, and then the Cardinals just downward spiral, and it was sure they won a game. I think they won a game during that stretch, but
you're going downhill when you lose to the Lions.
Yeah.
It's just there's not really a coming back from that.
Well, or it's just like a trap game.
Mhm.
Like Bills Jags. The Bills didn't have a downward spiral. They played their best football up to the very end, besides the defense in that last 2 drives for the Chiefs. Other than that,
who did the who was it? Who did the I'm trying to think because the Lions, every team that they played didn't do a whole every team that they won against. The Vikings didn't make it to the playoffs.
the Cardinals lost in the first round.
The Steelers lost in the first round.
Yeah, but no one really expected the Steelers to do anything. People were like, okay, the Cardinals might do something. The Cardinals could possibly win this week. I didn't think they would. But it was a possibility.
Who did the I can't remember who's the other team they played. That's gonna bug me, but yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of credit to them. They're not really coming back when you lose to the Lions, which is sort of their kill factor.
Yeah, and they're probably going to get a defensive piece in the draft, and then they'll come back. And I think they could be a 6-win team next year. I don't really see. I don't know if I'll see it that way, but they could definitely do it.
Undefeated Lions next year. Let's go.
Yeah, 17-0. Also,
that laugh was well timed. Anyway, I think they'll get Hutchinson. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because I think the Jags are going to focus on building around Trevor Lawrence, and then obviously I don't think the Lions believe in Jared Goff as the answer for their team.
Boy, if only they had a Super Bowl quarterback, that would be swell.
Yeah, but no, they weren't going to win with Matt Stafford because Matt Stafford wouldn't be around long enough for the end of that rebuild. Because if he was on the Lions long enough, he would retire early.
And look at him now.
Yes. This is what getting off the Lions does to you.
And this is what going to the Lions does to you.
Yeah.
But I mean, it comes down to Dan Campbell. Obviously, he's gonna stay. They have all this. They have talent. Let's be honest. They have talent.
Yeah, and it seems like everyone likes Dan Campbell in that Lions locker room.
I haven't. I mean, I'm granted I'm not looking for it, but I haven't seen anything negative about it.
Yeah, but I haven't seen anything negative. But I have seen things positive about Dan Campbell being a good locker room guy, and he really likes his players. Because after that, after that loss to the Ravens, he cried at the press conference because he was like, "Dude, these players work so hard. Like to lose like that, it's really stings." Like he just like kind of like teared up a little bit, which is like shows how much he really does care about his organization and his players.
Yeah. It's a personal thing for him.
Yeah, and if I could steal someone from any team, like as a coach, besides like Bill Belichick or like some like really top line, like really smart dude, and like I just don't motivate like a team, it's Dan Campbell. Like he is like he's totally got it. He can hide.
Maybe Rich Bisaccia too.
Yeah, Rich Bisaccia too, because he seems like he's a really good.
Maybe as a coordinator. Add him as a coordinator.
I wouldn't add Dan Campbell as like a coordinator or a head coach. I'm
talking about Bisaccia.
Yeah, Bisaccia, I would add him as something important because he seems like he knows what he proves he knows
what he's doing.
And he can get stuff done. But I wouldn't replace him as a coordinator for the Bengals because I feel like we have good coordinators based on what we're doing this year. But I would put him in as a coach if I had the opportunity. And I think a lot of teams look at it that way. And I think he will get a coordinating job, and he will probably get a head coaching job eventually.
Eventually, yes. But he has the potential to turn that organization into a winning franchise. Not necessarily, definitely not a dynasty, but somewhere that's a team that is up there in the conversation for like maybe a Super Bowl.
Who do you think is going to win?
If they can get.
Who do you think is going to win the NFC North next year?
NFC North.
Yeah, Packers.
It all depends on what happens with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, because if Aaron Rodgers leaves, they're going to ride with Jordan Love, he hasn't proven himself anything. Like, he hasn't proven that he's garbage. He hasn't proven that he's good. He hasn't proven that he's great. He hasn't proven that he's even half decent.
He's proven that he's played.
Yeah. I mean, in the games that he's played, he's not looked good. He's not looked good.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to ride with him if Aaron Rodgers does leave, but I don't think. I mean, to be fair, even if you weren't going to ride with him, you don't really have much to choose from in this draft.
Yeah, but like, you spent a first-round pick on him.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do something.
You can't waste him like that. You have eventually, if there's a good quarterback class, probably replace him.
Unless he proves himself to be good.
Yeah, unless he proves himself, in which case things become a little more interesting.
Because that Packers team is going to look very, very different next year because they are $40 million below the cap. Getting rid of Aaron Rodgers, we get rid of $20 million of that, and they have a bunch of free agents hitting the market. One of them being Devontae Adams.
There's going to be a lot of shakeups, and I mean, it's not like they were doing much of any like Super Bowl wins. Anyway,
if they don't make the playoffs next year, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they had maybe a losing record.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Granted, it might be like 8 and 9.
It's gonna be really. If I had to choose, I would say the Bears. I would say the Bears win that division next year. And I mean, it all depends on who the Vikings hire for their head coach. Because the Bears already hired their head coach. I don't know who his name was, but he was a defensive coordinator for. I think it was the Colts. If I had to guess.
I'll have to check that later.
It was a defensive guy, but I really think they should have tried to hire an offensive mind. But they're going to do something with their offensive coordinator to get someone for Justin Fields. Because I believe that he can be very good, but it's just
Justin Fields.
Yeah, it's all depends on who they get to teach him the ropes.
What are your thoughts on Justin Fields?
He is good when he's healthy. I think he's a good quarterback when he's healthy. I think if he stayed healthy for the whole season, he would have a shot at being the best quarterback in this draft class after the first year. And if I had to choose anyone to be the best quarterback in the draft class after this year, I'd be Mac Jones. But Justin Fields would definitely be in that conversation.
Yeah, Justin Fields just needs a good coach. Like we all knew Matt Nagy was not a good coach.
Yeah, Matt Nagy probably ruined Mitch Trubisky. Because Mitch Trubisky because what kind of chance did Mitch Trubisky have with Matt Nagy as a coach?
What chance does anyone have with Mitch Trubisky as a coach? I mean, besides like David Montgomery or anything.
I'm sorry, Matt Nagy as a coach. Matt Nagy as a coach, not Mitch Trubisky as a coach.
I didn't hear what you said, but that's all right.
Yeah, I think you said Mitch Trubisky as a coach.
Oh. I mean, there's not a whole lot that you can do when you have a horrible coach. We need to see how he plays this. A lot of rookie quarterbacks, we need to see how they do next year to really get an opinion on whether they're good or whether they're bad.
Yeah, because I think the 2020, the 2020 draft gave us an illusion, like quarterback draft class, gave us this illusion that rookie quarterbacks can be that guy right out of college. Because Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow were those guys right out of college. They were on fire out of college. They were doing really, really good for themselves out of college.
I think what we need to do, we need to step back. We need to wait a second. We need to see just how they perform 2 years instead of simple 1 year. Because that gives us, are they a fluke or are they actually good?
Yeah, and also, even if they did bad their rookie season, it shows us that they did something, that there's something there.
Yeah. That's the other thing. It's not just that they're good. It's their potential in said quarterback.
Potential's tricky, though, because the Panthers took Sam Darnold over Gardner Minshew. Because Gardner Minshew's a good quarterback, a decent quarterback. He's not. He might be. I think he's starter potential, but Sam Darnold coming off the Jets. had so much more potential than Gardner Minshew.
Well, here's the thing. We didn't really, I don't think we really got a good enough look at Sam Darnold because he was with the Jets. I don't think.
Yeah, but he was absolutely
Obviously.
garbage with the Panthers, dude. He was so bad.
They even brought in Cam Newton. That guy was not supposed to do anything again. That guy was not supposed to be doing anything with the Panthers this year.
He wasn't supposed to be doing anything with almost anyone, like at all.
Yeah, he was supposed to be done, I believe.
Pretty much, yeah.
After the Patriots got rid of him. But that's just how he did not play well in, like, I think there was that one game when he played well. There was like maybe one game that he played well. And then after that, just silence, static, nothing.
It was the first 3 weeks when they went 3-0.
Yeah. They were I was like, I'll take this. And then somebody just lit the trash can off.
All right, here's the thing. I'm gonna own one of my picks from earlier this year. Before when the Panthers were 3-0, I thought they'd finish the season 11-5. Like after they went 3-0, I was very high on Sam Darnold and I was very high on that Panther team. I still had the Bucs winning the division, but I had the Panthers coming in second at 11-5.
That doesn't even make any sense because that's only 16 games.
12, either 12-5 or 11-6. Then one of those. I'm not good with math.
All right.
I'm an honors geometry, but not good at math.
Fair enough. But there was just, I don't even know what sent them on such a downward spiral. I'm going to be completely honest. But
the Panthers or the
Panthers?
Sam Darnold. Actually.
Panthers and Sam Darnold combined. Let's be honest.
And the Panthers had that talent. They had the talent.
They have the talent, but there's just
they get injured. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's their best player. He gets injured. J.C. Horn, the J.C. Horn, the guy that took number 9 overall, got injured.
Yeah. What was his name? It was. That's gonna bug me. I don't remember his name. I should remember his name.
J.C. Horn?
No, it wasn't Casey Horn. I think.
Who are you talking about?
The guy that got the guy they had. It was a rookie, wasn't he? He got drafted and then he got injured in the preseason.
Yeah, J.C. Horn, the cornerback out of North Carolina. Actually, I think it was South Carolina. Or was he the South?
I'm thinking about a different team because it was a running back, wasn't it?
Travis Etienne.
Yeah, that's it. Etienne, whatever, however you say that name.
Talking about injuries. Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins go down for the Baltimore Ravens.
The Ravens. You get rid of that. That back was decimated. That was like 3 injuries before the season started.
Yeah, they had Le'Veon Bell playing for them. That's pretty bad.
What was it? It was Gus Edwards, which I know because I made a mistake. It was.
Yeah.
Who was it? Who was it? It was J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins.
And then who was the third one? There was a third one. I know there was.
I don't know. I don't know.
But that backfield was just that was rough.
Yeah.
They did not escape unscathed.
And also, with the Bengals and the Super Bowl, if they're gonna win a Super Bowl any year, they win it this year. Win it this year. Like it's seriously, because the AFC imploded on itself this year. The AFC North imploded on itself. It's like the pack. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He made it to a Super Bowl one time. So the Patriots gave us this fake idea that it's not difficult to go to the Super Bowl. It is hard. It is very difficult to make it to a Super Bowl. And
it is very hard.
And if you get there, you better win. Because you have no idea where you're going to be next year.
You might not make it again.
You might not make it to the playoffs. You might not make it at all. You might lose in the championship game 4 times. not make the playoffs, and then lose a 5th time to lose your best quarterback in the divisional round against the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. Bengals. You don't know when
you gotta win. When you get there, it's like put everything out on the line. Otherwise, you might not go home with the Lombardi, and then
you might not make it back.
Most teams that lose the Super Bowl don't make it back to the playoffs next year.
You might not make it back. Let's be completely honest. Bengals, you might not make it back to the playoffs for another, let me do my math, 32 years.
We might not make it back to Super Bowl ever. Like, this is like with Joe Burrow ever again.
Not ever. Not ever.
I mean, like, ever
Maybe
again.
not in your lifetime.
I mean, Joe Burrow, jeez. I mean, we might not make it back to the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow ever again. It will. After Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl, it was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a dynasty. This is gonna be the Patriots of the NFC. Nope.
Yeah, that worked out for them.
No.
What do we have to show for it? As you can see,
Super Bowl.
This is empty.
Won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, won Super Bowl. What is it? 22 Super Bowls in 25 years? In the past 25 years?
One, yeah, you're
one with Favre and one with
Rodgers.
One with Favre, one with Rodgers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You
just never know, man.
And it's not even that they're a bad team. It's not.
They were a good team.
They're a good team. It's just circumstance, maybe.
Yeah.
Because the 49ers somehow that I don't know how that happened. 49ers making it to the conference championship.
Good as gold.
I mean, I was rooting for them and all, obviously, but don't know how that happened. Nobody knows how that happened. Robbie Gould is like a magician.
Evan McPherson is 9 points away from tying the single postseason points record for a kicker. Actually, and that was points record.
Who was it? Was that Adam
Vinatieri?
Yeah.
Who else is it gonna be?
No one. Shooter McPherson is ready.
He holds virtually every record for the kicking position, besides like the longest field goal, which Justin Tucker kicked.
But he was in the NFL for forever.
Yeah, it's hard when you're a kicker. That's really difficult.
I think I would argue it's harder when you're a quarterback, but
I don't know. More quarterbacks play more than 10 years.
How long did Adam? I'm not gonna pronounce his name right.
Vinatieri, yeah. I don't know how long he played.
Wasn't it 20-some years?
Oh, I don't know about that.
23.
Let me look it up real quick.
It was a long, prosperous career. He definitely set a lot of records in
24 seasons. Oh 24, my
God. Longer than Tom Brady. He
was in the NFL longer than Thomas Edward Patrick Brady.
Tep B. Make sure you're right about that. But does not happen usually. We've seen a couple of rarities.
That's an outlier. Like seriously.
Yeah.
Also, with Evan McPherson Evan McPherson was drafted as a kicker in the 5th round. Now this begs the question: do you draft kickers? Should you draft kickers?
If they're worth it, yeah. If you see something really special in a kicker, go for it. Maybe.
Yeah, because I think Evan McPherson could possibly have proven to the NFL that you should draft kickers in the later rounds.
But I wouldn't make that the normal, obviously. Don't go based off of Evan McPherson. Be like, we need to draft kickers. Don't do that.
I think it's going to start slowly ease into a normality where kickers are being drafted in the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds.
I can see that, but my point is, don't make it a priority.
Oh, yeah. You don't go on the draft scouting kickers. I mean, you might scout a few here and there, like see what's up, watch some tape. But you don't go to their pro day. Like the kickers don't really have pro days. Why would they? You can just watch what they do in games. Like it's the same motion every time.
with different results. So
Yeah.
unless you're Tony Romo.
Yeah. I guess unless you're Tony Romo, other than that, it's pretty much the same thing every time.
Other than that, you should be doing the same thing every time. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But
Super Bowl predictions. You want to do that real quick?
sure, why not?
So the Rams are 4.5-point favorites.
I've seen different odds. I've seen 5.5.
Yeah, I've seen 4 as well. So
I've seen 5.5. Yeah. I've seen 4.5. It's
think I would take I would take the Bengals spread.
Mm-hmm. Take the Bengals to cover. Okay.
Yeah.
What about to win though? Not betting predictions. Well, if you want to do betting predictions,
like I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Also, not gambling advice. Also,
totally not gambling advice. Even though we mentioned the spread.
Like I said earlier, it's gonna be one of the trenches. You're gonna have the Bengals garbage O-line against the Rams stellar pass rush. That's not a good matchup for the Bengals.
Cream of the crop, definitely for a defense. This is prime opportunity for the Rams to really win that Super Bowl that they didn't win 3 or 4 years ago.
And then for the Bengals, just like, could you imagine if they won? Because like it's just like when they played the Chiefs. It was like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, let's go Bengals." Who they? They're not going to win. They're not winning, but who they? And then they win, and then I was like, "Oh,
we didn't expect that result."
Bang! Oh, but also as a Bengals fan, I was watching that game, and I was like, and as soon as Von Bell made that play, Eli actually, no, it wasn't Von Bell. It was Eli Apple. When Eli Apple stopped Tyreek Hill for the second half, I was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna win the game." Because the same thing happened in Week 17 when Von Bell stopped Tyreek Hill from catching a ball, and he won and to stop points the second half and gave us momentum going in the second half. And guess what? Guess what the point deficit at halftime was in both of those games? It was 11 points. It was the same for both games.
And I'm seeing a lot of deja vu.
Yeah, it was like holy moly.
Well, that was the kind of thing. That was why I wanted the 49ers to win, so we could have the deja vu bowl.
Yeah, let's roll it back. Hopefully, it's not the same result.
Roll it back. 1988. 49ers are going to win again, probably. Maybe not. They only have Jimmy G, but I mean, there was a chance.
Oh, I think Joe's like quarterbacks named Joe's. I think they're like 9-4 in the Super Bowl.
We have Joe Burrow, Joe Montana,
Joe Flacco.
My God, Joe Flacco. I forgot. He's still playing.
He fell off the field. He should retire. Like, honestly.
He should retire because he's like fourth string for the Jets.
If you're fourth string for the New Jersey Jets, you should retire. Like, you should go get a Chuck E. Cheese application.
Why Chuck E. Cheese? Joe Flacco is not a Chuck E. Cheese guy. He's obviously Domino's.
Domino's Pizza. I welcome to Domino's Pizza. Holy crap! Are you Joe Flacco?
He's the only guy at Domino's to have his last name on his name tag.
Yeah.
I guess I'll make my prediction. Because since you sort of haven't made yours, you only sort of gave vague.
I think if I was non-biased, I think the Rams are gonna win.
Biased answer?
Bengals by 69.
You're
and
kidding.
You wanna know why? Why?
Why?
Because Sam Hubbard went on a podcast and he said that we're doing this for Harambe. No, like he actually said that. He said we're doing this for Harambe. Bengals are winning by 69. Harambe stepping in and we're winning the game.
It only took him a couple years.
The Almighty. It's also the Chinese Year of the Tiger. Just saying that too. This like it's literally it's like stars align. Like for Harambe. You're the Tiger in China, which is that's kind of nuts too. Also, your Super Bowl predictions. Now that you know Harambe is on the side of the Bengals.
Ridiculous stuff, I know, but I'm conflicted because obviously the common opinion is the Rams are going to win. Everybody knows that. Joe Burrow's going to take like 24 sacks.
Yeah, they're also in their own stadium.
as the away team.
And who knows? Maybe the Bengals O-line holds up. Right?
Unlikely, but I mean, see how
Unlikely
it
but
goes.
possible. Unlikely but possible.
Fair enough. But I'm actually choosing the Bengals to win this one.
Oh.
Non-biased opinion. Because I don't root for either of those teams. Well, I'm sort of partially biased because Bengals household, but I think you remember when I stated about them throwing to different people besides Jamar Chase?
Yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, that's a good point because the Bengals, you can't cover everyone. You can't cover Tyler Boyd, Higgins. You can't double team 3 receivers. So one of them is going to get open because they're all 3 of them are very good. All 3 of them are number 2s or number 1s on most NFL teams.
Yes, they are. So you have all of that. You have that giant well to pick from. Whereas I see the Rams, they have great receivers. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like they're mostly a Cooper Cup oriented throwing team.
Yeah, so you can put Chidobe Awuzie and Jesse Bates on Cooper Cup.
Yeah, and then
that will mainly lock Cooper Cup down. He will find ways to get open because he's a very shifty player. He does most of his yards after the catch. So preventing him from catching the ball is really going to be the main goal of that double team when they do double team him.
Yes.
But the Bengals will blitz probably about 3 or 4 times during that game with Sam Hubbard. When you have Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader, you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to do that. And then on the Bengals side, you also have CJ Uzama. You have CJ Uzama.
I thought it was Uzama.
I thought it was Uzama. Wrong. I mean, I don't know. CJ Hujamama.
Is he going to be healthy for this game?
I don't know. Yeah, because he did get injured in the AFC Championship game, but it wasn't like a broken bone or anything. It wasn't like worst case scenario. It was like he might be back. We'll figure it out.
He didn't come back to the game, if I'm not mistaken. But
he didn't go back in the game. He came back out on the sideline.
Yeah. So he'll probably he probably will be a factor though, because he's got 2 weeks to get healthy.
Yeah, you have the bye. You have the bye.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a bye.
It is.
Just next week. It's not really.
It's a bye.
Yeah. It's
not a bye is a week where you don't play.
A bye is a week where there's other but this is not the regular season. There's always
I said during the season.
Okay, yeah, but this is fair enough. All right. But that's why I'm picking the Bengals, because I feel like they are used to throwing to other people. I'm not saying the Rams aren't. I'm just saying, looking at the championship game, I just felt like it was very Cooper Cup oriented, with just a minor input from OBJ and Van
Jefferson. Yeah. So that's where we're gonna leave it off for today. This is the Sideline Report with Chris Fleming and Riley Crick. See y'all next time.